Holy crap, I did not do that. Okay, just before we begin, I'd like to point out that just for some reason, when I booted up the game this time, I got 6.1.25 million credits. I did not do that, and I've actually been playing the game earning my own credits from this point. So, yeah, at least I've got a bit of an opinion on how the early game is, because the late game is going to be broken as shit now. Wow. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here taking a look at Tabletop Racing. This is a game from Playrise Digital and published by Ripstone. Ripstone have been known for publishing a few indies on the PlayStation Vita. Only one I can think of right now being Men's Room Mayhem. What else was there? Did Ripstone publish Big Sky Infinity? Yeah, I think they did. But anyway, let's just have a look at Tabletop Racing. In the options, you've only got your music, your sound effects, and your credits. Unfortunately, that isn't as detailed of an option menu as I would like. I'll explain why later. So here we can go to the garage. Now, the garage is where you pick your cars, obviously, and you can also go and buy some upgrades for some of these cars. So we can go and buy some tyres for this van here, which give you all sorts of little different things. We can also buy paint jobs. Lots of different paint jobs. There's also upgrades for every car that you own, and every time you buy an upgrade for a car, you get a stronger version of that car. It's that simple, really. You earn credits or coins, or whatever you want to call them, by doing races. And to be fair, the balance of this, considering that this game was originally a free-to-play game on Android, the balance of these coins is actually fairly good, and as long as you're not really stupid with how you go spending all your money, you'll usually do fine throughout the game. And there's a single race mode where you can go and grind coins if you need to, and you actually get them fairly fast after a short period of time. So, you know, it's not that bad. Just ignore the fact that I've been given 6 million coins out of bloody nowhere, and we will continue on. You can also come and buy different cars here. You know, that's probably the best car for time trial events and all that. But, as you can see, it's got no armor, so it won't be able to stand up to much. The stats are all pretty self-explanatory: speed, grip, and acceleration. Armor is basically just how long you take to get back on your feet after you take a weapon to the face. So, that's the thing. And turbo is how fast you go when you pick up a turbo, of course. And this is the cutest car I've seen in the entire world, and I want it. But let's not get into that. Let's just go to my favorite car here, the one I've been upgrading the most. Now let's go and do some racing. Now, there are lots of different races in this game. They're separated into 3 major categories: the championships, the drift, and the special events. We'll take a look at the championships first. So, these championships are a series of events, and you need to complete all the events before one event before you can unlock the next ones. And obviously, at the end, you get to go into what is basically a 3-race Grand Prix, which, if you get enough points to come first, you get lots of money and you get to move on to the next Grand Prix. But enough of that. Let's get on to one of these now, and we will show off how the game works. This is a pure race, so there'll be no items. It'll just be me, a few other cars, and the ability to commentate on the game's presentation and such. First thing I want to point out is that this game is actually pretty gorgeous. I mean, the Android version looks better, because I actually did play the Android version before I decided to play this. And even though the Android version has obviously got a step up on this is a very pretty version of the game. The shadows look great. It runs at a constantly high frame rate. Nothing I've done so far has caused the frame rate to drop. And just, yeah, the courses and the shadows and the cars all look great. The Jaggies don't really stand out that much. You could do with one extra layer of anti-aliasing. But other than that, it's a really good looking game. And the sound kind of just, you know, goes to the background after a little while. But it's sound in a car racing game. Unless you're Gran Turismo and you're a car audiophile, then you're really not going to be paying attention to the music, are you? One thing I don't like about this game, however, is the controls. Now, before I go any further deep into that actual statement, because that statement was terrible, the controls are fine, alright? They just need a couple of tweaks. Like, for example, the only option you have for accelerating and decelerating is square and X, and you can only, like, fire weapons using the L and R buttons, which gets kind of annoying after a while. Because pretty much every racing game I've played on this has the R and L buttons set default to accelerate and brake, and it's really, really hard to get used to. So I just won a race. I came first, so I've got 3 stars. If you come second and third, you'll get 2 stars and 1 star respectively, and you'll get the money that goes with that. Also, I've noticed that you'll get XP. I'm pretty sure you're locked out of getting into specific events when you have that, until you have a specific level, I should say. So that was a pure race. As I was saying before, the controls could tend to do with a little bit of rebinding. I'll go and hop into a weapon race next, just so I can show that off. Now that's a hot lap. That's just a 1 lap time trial thing. I'll hop into a combat race here. Also, one other problem I have with the controls, the rear touchpad actually activates the rear view camera. So if you're like me, and you might be holding your rear touchpad over like this, you'll be like, okay, why the hell is my camera fixed to the back of me? Why can't I fix that? Well, that's why. It's kind of annoying you can't turn that off. I hope they patch in the ability to change the controls for driving and for the and for the rear view mirror. Because there's a bunch of other buttons you could use, guys. Did you really have to use the rear touchpad? It's not that precise. I don't like it very much. Alright, so combat races in this game work a bit differently. So you have boxes that look surprisingly like Crash Bandicoot boxes. And when you go through them, you get 1 of 4 random weapons. You get either a missile, well, you get 1 of 5, I think. You get a missile, you get turbo, you get an EMP strike. You get a bomb. And what was he? No, I don't think there's anything else, really. But, yeah, you get 4 weapons, and to be fair, it's about the absolute minimum they could have gone for with this game. Because that's a very simple moveset, right? It's you get 1 offensive weapon, 1 defensive weapon, 1 weapon that's in between, and a boost, and that's it. I'll say it again, it's not terrible, and it's actually kind of... The simplicity actually works for the game. Because the simplicity of the weapon set means that there's nothing really that confusing about it, and you can figure out everything on the fly, so there's really no need for any sort of tutorial or any sort of primer. You can just usually figure out what everything does, like, straight away, right? And you don't have a problem with that in the slightest. It's actually really... No. I came second? What? Okay, I thought I was coming first. Goddamn dog. I thought I was coming first. That was a bit odd, but... Yeah. Alright, so that was a combat race. There's a couple more different types of races, like the Eliminator and Pursuit races. But we're gonna back out, and we're gonna go to the special events now. Special events are about the same as the Grand Prix, except you can only do them at specific points, and you can only do them with specific cars. So I need to go and get the van in order to do this event. And I also need to be some sort of specific level. I'm just going to upgrade my car all the way to max, so I don't lose this race. Why do I have so many coins? This is ridiculous. I don't even know what happened. I started up the game and I just got a ton of coins. But anyway, we have all the upgrades we need, so we can show off an elimination race. And we've also got special weapons, which are just a couple of things that you get, like you get a shield every lap, and you can use it for 5 seconds and stuff like that. They're all upgrades of their own. And the game itself can actually be pretty fast. I mean, it starts off pretty slow, because obviously they want you to actually upgrade your cars and get used to the handling physics and all that. Actually reminds me of an old game on the PS2 I played called Road Trip Adventure, also known as Road Trip to people in the United States, where the driving physics are actually a bit wonky, where if you even get one wheel off the ground, you will basically go insane. But it's still a very fun little driving system here. Why is this dog so goddamn loud? I will never know. But the driving system itself is fluid, responsive, very fun. Just be careful you don't get a single wheel off the ground, otherwise just nothing will go your way. Bloody hell. It's like blue shell syndrome all over again in Mario Kart. All the races are pretty short, which some people would draw an issue with this. I don't really, because the races are short, sure, but that just means you can have easier time restarting. And even then, it's not that big of a deal. Especially since you can just, you know, sit down and go through like 10 or 20 races at once if you like. I've put about... When I played this game last night for the first time, I clocked about 2 hours in it. So yeah, this is about 2 hours, 10 minutes in at this point. The game will definitely last you for a few hours at least. Yes, you can actually avoid missiles if you're good enough, unlike blue shells. Although there are times where you'll just get destroyed and there's nothing you can really do about it. Take that. Cheeky bugger kept all his speed. But again, overall the game is just very fluid, very responsive, and it's enjoyable to play. And I can't really ask much else of my kart racing games, that's for sure. It's got a couple of irritating things about it, but just there's nothing that I can really say outright puts me off this game. And that's great. I have no particularly big reason to... I think I just heard a door knock. I'll check it in a minute. There's no particularly big reason to say that this game isn't really worth your time. The game's purchase model seems to be perfectly fair. I don't know how I got 6 million coins, but I will enjoy those 6 million coins, but from what I played of the first 2 hours last night when I didn't actually have those coins, that worked fine, and I was able to buy upgrades, and all I needed to do was a little bit of grinding. It's not that sort of game where you hit a rock-hard wall, and you can just do whatever you please. So that was a look at the special events. There's a lot of different special events, by the way. There's like 4 categories. So yeah, as you can see, there's a ton of events to do. It will definitely keep you busy. This game does have a ton of content. Like, I've got to show off the drift missions now. Actually, I'll upgrade my car just to get all the speed I need. Unfortunately, you can't pick what you upgrade, so you just have to slowly upgrade absolutely everything. Just, like, one by one. So this car's a drift special. It's meant mainly for the drift events. So we will just pick one here. The drift events are something different. It's a nice little break from the actual racing where when the game decides it wants to load, all we have to do is get a high score drift. How do we do that? How do you think, Sherlock? I've actually got the special tires equipped, which are actually helpful for drifting. You need to have those equipped. They cost only 10k, and considering this drift car only costs 20k, it's about 30k to actually stand a chance in these events. So yeah, you just try and get as good of a drift as possible, and hope you don't run into something and mess up your drift score. Or do what I did there. again, it's just a nice break. Yeah, obviously you can't hit stuff, otherwise you get no points from the drift, which is absolutely disappointing, but... Did I get 2 stars for that? I hope I did. I did. And that gives you money too. So... that was a quick look at tabletop racing. Fix the controls, and this is an absolute must-have. I am really enjoying it. It's even got online multiplayer. There will be nobody playing this online, because I'm currently playing this pre-release. But there will be absolutely no one online, I guarantee you. Had a feeling. But yeah, it's even got online multiplayer, and it's got a fair amount of single-player content. I should talk about price. I actually know the price. It'll be £5, €7, and $8. For that, go right ahead. Very well-produced port. Needs a couple of tweaks to the controls, but otherwise is absolutely fine. Very enjoyable, very fun to play. I'm enjoying myself. And I will play to the very end if I have the time, because I actually just got a serial code in the... I actually just got a press code in the mail for Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth, so that's going to be taking up a fair bit of my time. So I'm going to stop the commentary here and just race this season finale, so you can just have some uncommentated gameplay. And I do recommend this game entirely. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.